The next one for us is something we've been really excited about for a while, which is retail media networks. And by this, we mean kind of the growing recognition from retailers that their store is not just about selling product. It is obviously the core goal, but it is also about enabling other services. And one of the big ones that we are hearing about more and more is media value. So what is the impact that I can make by having a digital sign that shows your brand when you're in my store? And I think we've been talking about this so long in the online context that we forget that there is this huge application offline, especially when you think of the greater levels of intent that exists with a physical store visit as opposed to an online website visit.
Well, and Ethan, tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here in these charts. Like, and especially when you talk about people voting with their feet, like I want to dive a little bit more into retail media networks and how Placer is able to kind of gather this data around how it's impacting in store. Because you're right, we hear a lot about how things are impacting digital grocery, but like what happens when I've walked through the threshold?
Sure. So let's think. We talk about a lot about, I think online in general, when we think about omnichannel, we think about the physical store visit as a given, and then we talk about all of these amazing things that online has brought, and they are amazing. We think about social media, we think about online visits, we think about engagement, we think about impressions. We're not just talking about sales, right? That's not the only thing that we pay attention to. I don't think we ever did that for physical stores. We kind of said, all right, well, the only thing that matters is sales, forget all of these other values. And now there's this shift where we're starting to apply that same lens and comprehensive approach that we bring to the way we view online, offline. And why does this matter? So look at, on the graph in your bottom left, you have online visitors in the purple and offline visitors in the yellow. And you can see for Walmart and Target, and these are unique monthly visitors. So this is not overall visits, this is uniques. They dramatically outpace what they do online, offline. And now you add to that, what's the value of an offline visit versus an online visit? Again, doesn't make the online visit unimportant. It doesn't reduce how significant it is for the growth here. But when I go in a store, my ability to potentially be upsold. So I'm there, I'm walking through the aisles, I need to get chips and a drink. If there's a really exciting cookie ad, yeah, I'm gonna be swayed. There's something about being in the store and getting that last bit so close to the point of purchase that's really exciting. And it's, we think about, the value of like search engine optimization was capturing intent. When we think about the intent that comes with a store visit, it's a really significant play, and it gives a lot of retailers, especially those with a large footprint, a lot of value. And add to this the ability to kind of segment audiences. So I can look at retailers in a fundamentally different way. So take Dollar General, one of the strongest retailers. If I take Dollar General and I say, all right, I want to look at Dollar General not by CBSA or DMA. I want to look at Dollar Generals by where there's a lot of cross-shopping with Walmart. Is there an ability to then hyper-target those audiences, those locations that are going to reach where I have that crossover? If I want to look at Dollar Generals in towns under a population of 100,000, I'm hitting a very unique, specific market. And as a CPG company, it allows me to get really refined in the way I bring my products to market in the offline environment.
So you're saying that's essential. So that's the time with the retail media network then, if I'm to connect the dots here, is really it's the business case of not just getting more money, ultimately for the retailer, but it's actually what it's enabling you to do strategically by targeting different populations of people to this behavior proclivity that they're showing, which is, a great online shopper is also going to be an even better in-store shopper.
Yeah. So what you lose with the cookie and the kind of the tracking online, you're gaining with a different ability to segment offline. So even if I look for certain types of products, I'll give you an example. There is, you think about how do we bring products to the right markets? One of the really interesting things is understanding where the right audiences are. So let's take an example of, I have a product that focuses on people above the age of 45 to 60. If I can use census data and trade areas to understand where those individuals are those audiences are over indexed, right? I can bring those products to those places and help ensure that my product mix is ideal for that audience. If I can do that, then as a CPG company, I can also say, hey, you have digital signage within your store. This is a market I want to talk to. This is where I'm gonna focus my attention. So it allows them to bring a lot of the approaches that we're working online offline with great effect, because what some of the elements we never had offline was that individual understanding of the user. So again, that cookie, understanding who I am, where else I visited, that's something that you can do in a hyper-targeted way online. You can't do that offline, but I can start thinking about these retail networks, who they reach, and then leverage that as a way of bringing something similar to the physical retail world.
Yeah, either as a gap closer or, as to your point, the actual in-store digital media as that continues to grow as well. And Anne, I got to think, I mean, we've been talking about it, and having attended grocery shop, the retail media networks were everywhere. Like, I mean, you couldn't get enough of them. Like, it was the topic du jour at the show, one of the topics du jour at the show.
It makes sense though, given exactly what Ethan's talking about. I mean, before, as a media company, or when you're buying media, you're going off of general data, and like the fact that retail media networks haven't been something that we've pushed forward, or that retailers haven't seen the opportunity with sooner, is kind of surprising to me when you look at now all of that rich customer data. Everybody shops, especially these larger retailers like Target and Walmart and Dollar General, like Ethan's showing here. Like, the amount of data you have about those individuals is getting to be so finite and so valuable. And it never was, you just never had that at your fingertips before. It was only online. So I think it makes sense that we're seeing this huge surge in the investment of time and resources into retail media networks.
Yeah, and it's cool to think about it that way. And I love your point. Everybody shops too. That's true. Everybody does shop.
It's like not everybody's a Nielsen household. I hate to break it to you, and that data is slightly skewed.
Right.
So,
but everybody does shop fundamentally. It's just something I've never thought about. I love it. But all right, let's keep going. What's the next one, Ethan?
I mean, I'm gonna be rude, and I'm gonna shove on one last point, because I really liked what Andrew said by bringing up Nielsen. Of like, we've classically thought about markets from that Nielsen perspective, which is there's this core group, we make our estimations on top, and we're able to be pretty darn accurate and drive our reach in that way. Leveraging stores for that, the power that the stores bring, that same approach can be super valuable. I mean, I think the data is going to unlock that Nielsening for the retail media network.
Yeah, especially when you think about like the out of home stuff. Like, I just think about what Ethan's able to provide now, what Placer can provide for a retailer. Like, out of home, you're like an estimated 100,000 people drive by your billboard and may have seen it at this time of day, between this time of day. And now Ethan's like, actually, I can tell you there's 100 people that walked in from 8:42 to 8:44, and this is what they saw. So again, it shows exactly what Ethan's talking about, just about how specific you can get with this data.